Located just north of Colorado Springs, Colorado, at the base of the Front Range, is the United States Air Force Academy campus. The campus sits on 18,500 acres and maintains over 30 miles of trails that are perfect for hiking, mountain biking, and horse riding that are open to visitors. Hidden in the woods of the United States Air Force Academy, you will find a pioneer cabin and a family cemetery. The cabin is called Cap's Cabin, and it was built by William Alexander Burgess between 1871 and 1877. It is considered one of the oldest standing structures in the area. The cabin was moved to this location when the academy was being built, but is still accessible to the public. The family cemetery contains the Leonard Capps family, who once lived in the cabin and on the grounds of the academy. So you park here. Here is what they call the car wash. This is just one of those little car washes. This is the auto hobby shop. Go around the back side of this and you will see the dirt road. And you just walk straight up that dirt road and about a third of the mile, and then you get to the cabin. So we're right behind the car wash area. This is actually Capps Lane, and we're about ready to go on Burgess Lane. And Burgess is the guy who built the cabin originally. So we know we're on the right trail. So I'm starting to see the roof of it, so we're very close. It's not a far walk at all.
10th of a mile from what I hear.
0.3. It's not far at all. That's my sister and brother-in-law ahead of us. They're going on a mega hike while we're sticking back and exploring the base. So you can hike all through the academy property as long as the signs don't say, prohibited area. But what's really nice is it's all wooded. The wildflowers are starting to come out. We're here in late July.
Soil sand. Maybe it was ancient seabed, I don't know. But soil sand.
All of Colorado is an ancient seabed.
They put creatures in our helmets.
What does that have to do with Star Trek?
They came back for
Here we go. Here's the cabin. A picnic bench here.
So how old's the pioneer cabin?
From the 1870s. Burgess originally built it for his family.
They didn't steal his land, did they?
Actually, because of a debt, an $80 debt, he lost this property.
I'd give him 100.
And Capp family took it over. Leonard Capp, he and his wife Mary Ann. And their graves were down over here. Here's some people mountain biking, so it's a really nice area to mountain bike. And this was their graves were down this way, and they moved them all up over here when they took over the property. The Burgess family first built this, and then they lost it to a debt, and the Capp family took it over. These are the Capps. They were exactly, and so they were buried down here, and so Mary Ann and Leonard were the parents, and the rest are children, and we're not sure how they passed. I am speculating that it's diphtheria or the Russian flu, because those dates are when those epidemics happened here in Colorado. And, it killed a lot of children, especially the Russian flu. And they think that the Russian flu was a precursor to the Spanish flu. because when the Spanish flu happened in 1917 and 1918, older people didn't get sick
because
they had immunity from the Russian flu. That's what their scientists speculate.
Well, Bertie here was alive in 1883, so when they came through to settle Montana up to the Yellowstone Ranch, they probably stopped here for tea.
So Clarence, 1887 to 1890. Mary Ann, she died the same year, but she was the mother, died the same year as Clarence did. This is the dad, Leonard. He died a year before Mary Ann, 1815 to 1899. And then Bernie was one of the children too that passed 1881 to 1884. And then poor George here was only a year old, 1885 to 1885. And so again, this was either like, there was a lot of epidemics going on at that time, and diphtheria was one of them, and the Russian flu. So I'll see what I can find out.
Indian depredations, and they would go to a ranch about 1860s to 80s and stuff, a ranch 4 miles south.
So the sign says relic hunting, not allowed. This cabin, its surroundings, and all the land at the U.S. Air Force Academy are subject to Archaeological Resource Protection Act, which protects our nation's archaeological, cultural, historical objects and sites for all of us to enjoy. Unauthorized removal or destruction of these resources is punishable by criminal and civil penalty. So if you have any questions about the history, you can contact them. So let's see if we can see inside it all. So there's like a door on the other side. It's a fireplace. Looks like they cleaned the window, even though it's hard to see in. Yeah, because some of these places I've gone to, it's really hard to see the window, see in. You can see the ceiling. So there's the other door on the other side. Going through tall grass here. Very cool. So you can see the graves are right there. They're right next to the cabin now. So I just noticed people put pine cones, and I didn't see this before, but people are putting coins in pine cones, showing that they were here, showing their respects. So that's a small cabin, really is. There's a sign over here. I'll go over and read that, but there's housing up over here that you're supposed to stay out of that area. So do park down by the car wash. And there's another trail. You can see many people walking, going past here, and they're on their bikes. A lot of people, mountain bikers, going by right on this trail. So if you want to go further and go and explore, it's a beautiful forested area. So this plaque right by the cemetery says, this cemetery symbolizes the many pioneer families who originally settled this region. Palmer Lake Historical Society, 1961. So this plaque's been here a long time. And then there's another sign over here. This sign says Pioneer Cabin. This cabin was built over 100 years ago, prior to 1870, by early pioneers choosing to settle in this area. It is not only the oldest building on the Academy site, but is also one of the oldest dwellings in the Pikes Peak region. Between 1863 and 1869, Indian depredation, that's a new one, were frequent in this area. And the settlers often took refuge at the Teach Out Ranch about 4 miles south and the McShane's Fort near Monument. Monument being the Monument town, or it's a town now. The Historical Society of the Pikes Peak region, 1959. And there's another side. So let's see. Hard to get under here because they've got a tree in the way. This side says, over 100 years ago, ox-driven wagon traveled the Colorado City Denver Stage Road, which ran along Monument Creek, a short distance from here. Dirty Women's Ranch, that's a name, and Pretty Woman's Ranch is another great name, were noted stops placed on it. The first narrow gauge Denver and Rio Grande Railroad train passed within 2 miles of here in October 1871. The cabin is listed by the U.S. Department of Interior on the National Register of Historic Places. So there's like a loft up there.
Kids can sleep.
Yeah. From this angle, you can tell that this is kind of angled. It's, it's all warped. Of course, it's very old, but that roof is definitely not as old as the building. At one point, it looks like they put a new roof on it to help preserve it. But it's really cool right now. In July, we got the wildflowers all around us. Sunflowers are starting to come up. Yeah, and that's why I'm questioning whether these were their parents or their grandparents.
I mean, if you look at it, 3 years, died in infancy, basically.
Yeah.
But he lived to 84 years old.
Yeah, I think they were.
He lived to, in their 80s.
I don't think this is their kids. I think these were the grandparents. Because think about it. If he was born in 1815, all these kids were born in the 80s.
Yeah, he would have been 70.
In his 70s. So, and this is the 1800s. I think these are.
Well, you figure he would have had this child. He would have had 8 years before he died, because 1881.
Right.
This child was born, and he died in 1889.
No, I think these were their grandkids. It has to be. I mean, the mom was born in 1819. What, yeah. She had all these kids in her 70s? Probably not. There's a picnic bench up here, so if you wanted to come up and have a picnic, got a family sitting there right now. It's a nice place to just kind of sit and relax. Very peaceful. There's trails all around. So definitely a cabin in the woods. As you can see, there's trails all around. You can go to the visitor center and get some suggestions, but there's stuff all over the internet on these trails. And again, they're open to the public. When you go through the guard gate, make sure you have ID with you. They will ask to look inside your car, but the public's welcome to come on to the property. Just be aware of signs that say, restricted access, nobody beyond this point, this is a family section. A lot of beautiful meadowed areas. there's more cabins that are just across from where the car wash is. And these kind of caught me by surprise. I did not know these were here, and I don't know the story behind them, so I'm hoping I can find out. But they're obviously old. Boy Scout
cabin area.
Camping area.
There you go.
That's what that says.
So the scouts come and camp on base in these cabins.
Okay.
They're of different design and era, of course, and they have electricity. Even though they look old, they're not.
This is Troop 78. Interesting.
Lucky guys.
So it looks like it's full of, you know, I guess storage. Oh, they look old to me.